Welcome to Money Muscle Mindset, the podcast designed to motivate and educate you on your journey to financial and fitness success and to develop the mentality needed to achieve your goals. I'm Zay Molina, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how humility fuels mastery. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, basically, guys, we're going to be talking about the beginner's edge, right? Why humility and curiosity outperform ego and false mastery, right? We're going to be breaking down why it's beneficial to think like a beginner versus someone that's been doing the same thing over and over and has a set routine. So we're going to dive deeper into this beginner mindset, why it's an underrated power, and how we can apply it to our lives to continue to help us achieve our goals. So without further ado, let's talk about what this beginner mindset is and how it can help us win. So think about it. There's something that you've probably learned that you were super excited about, you wanted to get involved with, right? And you started learning. And again, you were a beginner. You had no knowledge of this, right? Think about it. Maybe that was trading. Maybe that was learning an instrument. Maybe that was learning a language, right? Maybe that was getting involved with your business or whatever it may be, right? Think about that thing that you were super excited and now it just seems like second nature. Go back to when you were a beginner, right? How did you feel, right? Were you not super curious? Were you not excited to get started? Were you not, eager to learn, right? And that right there is the advantage of a beginner, right? A lot of people think it's a weakness, right? When you're starting out, you don't know anything, right? You think that you're so far behind, right? But in reality, guys, when you're a beginner, you're asking questions, right? And you're open-minded to all the knowledge coming your way, right? And you're easily adaptable to all this information. You're able to learn and adopt all this information coming at you because you don't know anything previously, right? When someone teaches you something brand new and you're ready to learn and you're interested, you're asking questions, right? You're easily able to pick up on these things a lot better than someone who has experience in the field. Because when you have experience and you consider yourself an expert or a master in a field, you're most likely not going to deviate from the stuff you already do. Your ego, your routine, your previous knowledge, right? It's going to keep you trapped and kind of form more of a fixed mindset versus that growth mindset that beginners have. Think about it this way, right? Think about your fitness journey, right? When you go to the gym, the first time you went to the gym, you didn't know any exercises, you asked people for help, you watched videos, right? What did you do, right? You most likely saw a video or got that help from that person, right? And they showed you how to do an exercise and you immediately started copying them, right? You said, okay, this is the way I'm going to do it. Let's say, for example, tricep pull downs, right? If I'm grabbing the rope and I'm pulling my arm down, I want to fully extend it, right? I want to bring my arm up back to about 90 degrees. Then I'm working on my triceps by pushing that rope down, right? And you're adopting this, you're learning this. If you've never done this exercise before, it's easy to listen to the person or the video that's in front of you and be able to copy them step by step. But let's say you've been lifting for a couple of years, 2, 3, 5 years, whatever it may be, right? And you do a tricep pull down and someone tells you, hey, go do a tricep pull down, right? And you start going to the machine, but you were taught with the wrong form and you start to do this thing and someone tries to tell you, hey, no, you should do it this way. You're most likely going to be more hesitant to correcting your form because you have been doing this for so long. This is the way you learned it. And this is the way you've been doing it for so long, right? So when someone tries to tell you, let's change this, right? Let's change your form, right? You're going to be hesitant to say, you know what? I like the way I do it. And you may be doing it wrong. So if you had the beginner mindset, you'd be more easily adaptable to correcting your form right away. But because you have experience and you feel that you know how to do this exercise your way, right? You are more hesitant and not easily adaptable to the correction, to that correct form. And we're all guilty of this, myself included, where we have things where we feel that, hey, I know how to do this, right? So I'm not going to go back and master the fundamentals. I'm not going to go back and ask people for questions about things that I already know, right? And that's just human nature. But the idea is how can we learn to adopt this beginner's edge? How can we learn to have this humility and continue to have that growth mindset so we can always grow and get better? Let's take trading, for example. If you've never traded in the Forex, crypto, or stock markets, but you're finally starting to learn a strategy to get involved and start learning this, right? You are more easily adaptable to what the educator is saying, right? And this is what I always say to my students when I'm educating, right? It's hard to forget what you've already learned, right? If you've already learned a strategy and you try to apply it to a new strategy, right? A lot of the time there's not a lot of connection and it's kind of holding you back. But if you're brand new and say, hey, I want to learn this strategy here, right? Never done anything like this before, and I'm showing you how to do this and you're learning this, right? It's basically giving you an advantage because you've never seen anything like this, right? It's easy for you to adopt, to stay engaged, to start learning, right? Because now it's something it's all brand new to you. It's easy to start picking up and start learning these things from scratch. On the other hand, let's say you were a scalper previously, right? You learned a scalping strategy, you're on these lower time frames, jumping in and out of trades, right? And you just wanted to now start doing swing trading, right? And start looking at these higher time frame charts, right? Well, if you start applying that scalping strategy to these higher time frames, right, you may not find a lot of success because of the different types of strategies. So again, if you're coming from scalping and you're trying to learn swing trading, right, and you're learning this new strategy, you may be hesitant to the information you're hearing from the educator. You may be sitting there and be like, well, I was taught this way with scalping, so I'm going to apply this, not what you're teaching me now, right? And it's kind of holding you back. Sometimes we got to humble ourselves and say, you know what? I don't know it all. Let me listen. Let me try to apply this. And then from there, I can make the best judgment on, okay, what works best for me. But that's the idea, is understanding that you want to be open-minded, right? You want to have that growth mindset versus that fixed mindset. And when people hear that word humility, right, they think of it as a weakness, right? Or something that's bad, right? But in reality, guys, that humility and humbling ourselves, right, can help us achieve more success than us trying to think that we know it all. It positions ourselves to learn faster, and it gives us the ability to, adapt more easily to information that's coming at us. And again, I'm not saying everything you hear is right and you need to forget everything you learned, right? But being open-minded to what people are saying and be able to try to make that connection of maybe stuff you already know, maybe stuff that you could correct that you have been doing wrong, right? But having that, again, that humility to say, you know what? I don't know it all. I can always get better. Again, it comes back to that quote that I like to say all the time, right? I'm confident enough to know I can do anything, humble enough to know I can always get better, right? You're confident enough to do whatever it is that you want to do, learn this new thing, whatever it may be, right? But you got to humble yourself to say, you know what? I may know some stuff that I learned previously, but I'm going to humble myself and say, you know what? Let me be open-minded. Let me learn what this new stuff is and be able to see if I can apply it now and be able to make myself better. And so that's the idea, guys, is don't look at humility as a weakness, but look at it as a power, right? How can we use this to help us on our journey in our finances, in our fitness, and even our mindset? Because right now, I believe you guys are listening to this because you want to grow, you want to develop, right? So you already have a growth mindset, right? So be open-minded to what I'm saying here, and it may help you, it may not, right? But at least have the humility to say, you know what? Let me be open-minded and hear what he has to say. And I'm not saying I know it all, right? I learned from podcasts myself. I learned from my books, right? I learned from all these different things that help me grow and develop. And I just kind of come on here to basically share with you guys what I have learned that have helped me. But I'm always open-minded. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to grow and develop, whether it's reading, whether it's podcasts, whether it's other speakers, whatever it may be, guys. I try to humble myself as much as possible to continue to learn and grow. So how can we do this? How can we turn humility into a power for us to help us grow and develop? So number one, guys, it's always good to ask more questions than when you answer. So there's nothing wrong with voicing your opinion. There's nothing wrong with sharing your knowledge and sharing your experiences, right? But also ask questions from others, right? Other people in your field, other mentors, other colleagues, right? Ask them questions. Maybe you're starting a similar business to one of your friends or family members, right? And right now they're producing better numbers than you are, right? Have the humility to say, you know what? I'm launching this my way. I'm doing what I've learned and what I've done, but let me go ask them for some help, right? What did they do differently that I've been doing, right? What are they doing differently that I can apply to my business, right? Ask more questions. You can share what you've done, share your knowledge, right? But also say, you know what? How can I improve, right? What are you doing that I'm not doing, right? And that may help launch your business to the next level, right? And you can apply this to your fitness journey, right? Maybe you're at the gym and you're doing an exercise and someone's doing more weight than you, or maybe they're doing it a little bit different than you, right? Have the humility to say, you know what? Let me go ask them about it, right? Hey, why are you doing it this way, right? And they may tell you that, hey, this gets more muscle engagement. This has helped me, blah, 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 right? Whatever it may be, right? You guys can bounce ideas off each other to help you get the best workout, right? And that is where that humility comes in as a power, because maybe the exercise that you were doing, there's nothing wrong with, but maybe again, that variation that he's doing, maybe you do feel more muscle engagement. Maybe you feel a little bit more of a burn, right? Maybe the next day you're a little bit more sore, right? And it kind of helps you feel like you got a better workout, and maybe you did get a better workout, right? So the idea is, again, guys, ask those questions, ask people for help, have that humility to say, you know what? I don't know it all. How can I learn and continue to get better? And this kind of goes into number two, right? Observe before you judge, right? And this actually applies very well to the fitness space, right? When you're at the gym, I'm sure you've seen people doing exercises that may look funny to you, right? Or may look different, right? You look at them and you're like, what in the world are they doing, right? But before you judge them and say, that looks stupid, that looks dumb, blah, 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 right? Whatever it may be, right? Look at them and say, okay, maybe they're doing it for a reason. Why could they possibly be doing it that way? And maybe sometimes, it's someone that doesn't know what they're doing, or sometimes maybe it is against someone that's trying to get more muscle engagement, right? Maybe, for example, you're at a cable machine and someone brings a full bench over and some dumbbells to do their exercise there. Well, maybe they're doing a superset. Maybe they're doing something on the bench that gives them a little bit better muscle activation, right? And so the idea is to not necessarily judge them right away and say, oh, that's wrong. They shouldn't be doing it that way and blah, 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 right? You should be like, okay, well, what are they doing? Why are they doing it that way, right? Could it be this? Could it be that? And then maybe that goes back into number one, go ask them, right? Why are you doing it this way? I'm just curious, right? And maybe you learn something that can help you on your journey. Or maybe, for example, they do need help and they're scared to ask questions. Now you can share your knowledge and say, okay, maybe you should try it this way. And then maybe you help them, right? But the idea is, guys, you're able to bounce ideas off each other, right? You're able to, be curious, be observant, right? And actually start to think before you just start quickly to judge and say, no, I know better. They shouldn't be doing it that way. Same thing for your finances, right? Let's again use trading as an example, right? If I'm there trading and using my strategy in the markets, but someone else is trading a different way, right? I shouldn't be so quick to judge and say, oh, that's wrong. Why are they doing it that way, I should be like, hey, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Right. And then I can maybe learn a little bit from them. They can learn a little bit from me. And we're again bouncing those ideas off to help each other grow. But that's the idea, guys, is keeping that open-mindedness, observing before you just judge, right? Ask those questions because they may know something that may help you on your journey. And last but not least, guys, number 3 of how we can turn humility into a power, guys, is staying curious, right? Whether you're watching someone at the gym, whether you're watching someone else with a different trading strategy, whatever it may be, guys, always ask yourself, how can I get better? What is something else that I can do to help me on this, right? What can I do differently that may produce better results, right? Be curious, right? Ask yourself those questions because that's going to open that door for, you know what? I do want to learn. I do want to go and do some research. I do want to go pick up another book, right? I do want to go ask these questions, right? Because when you force yourself to stay curious and say, how can I get better, right? You're going to want to go out and find that answer. How can I continue to grow? How can I continue to develop? What can I do that's going to help my business? That's going to help me on my fitness journey. That's going to help me grow my mindset, right? What can I do differently or in addition to what I'm already doing that can maybe help me see those better results? And there's actually been research studies about this, that when you're curious and you're wanting to learn and wanting to grow, right, it actually releases dopamine into your brain, which is responsible for happiness and excitement that we feel. And because of this, it actually makes learning more fun and enjoyable. So you're actually able to retain more of this knowledge and actually able to learn a little bit better. And so again, guys, by staying curious, asking more questions, observing before you judge, right, it actually helps you learn a little bit better and can help you grow and develop on your journey to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So again, having that beginner's edge of being humble, being humility, being open to learning is a lot better than being an expert, being a master. Because when you feel that you're an expert and you're a master, right, you're not open to learning, right? You feel that you know it all, right? You have that ego, you have that arrogance to say, you know what? I don't need to learn anymore. I am perfect. I'm an expert. I know all this stuff, right? And that's going to limit you from wanting to improve and reach the next level. And I fully believe, guys, that each and every one of us, no matter where we're at on our journey, whether we begin or whether we have experience in something, right, we can always improve and reach the next level. And that's actually what my business is all about. T&L Academy, the Next Level Academy, guys, we're all about helping you reach that next level in your finances, your fitness, your mindset, whatever it may be, right? And that is the goal. Is I believe each and every one of us should have that same mindset, that no matter where I'm at, maybe I'm brand new, a beginner, just starting out, or maybe I have been doing this for a few years now, a few months, whatever it may be, right? No matter where I'm at on my journey, there's always another level that we can reach. And so we need to have that humility to say, you know what? I'm not an expert. I'm not perfect. I'm not a master yet, right? I want to continue to grow because when I hit that level, I'm not going to have that open-mindedness to continue to keep growing. So when you're at the gym and you hit a new PR, you're lifting heavy. Let's say you hit 225 on bench. That's great. That is awesome. Now go hit 245. Go hit 265, right? Keep raising that ceiling. You can always get stronger. Keep pushing yourself to grow and get better. And even in your finances, let's say your goal is to make $5,000 a month with your side hustle and you just hit that. You're now doing that consistently, right? That's great. That's awesome. Now go for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, right? Push yourself to continue to keep growing because there's always another level. There's always something new you can do. There's always better ways to help your customers, right? You can always grow and improve. So keep pushing yourself to go after that. Don't think you're an expert. Don't think you're a master yet, right? Always find different ways to continue to push yourself to evolve. Again, guys, even with your mindset, right? You guys are all watching this because you guys are trying to grow, you're trying to develop, right? And even myself, guys, I don't think I'm a master in mindset whatsoever, right? I do this podcast because I like to help people. I like to share my knowledge of what things that I've learned and things that I'm continuously learning, right? But that's the key is I'm continuously learning. I'm still watching podcasts, right? I'm still reading books. I'm still learning different things that I can share with you guys each and every day so I can continue to develop on my own journey, but also help you guys as well. So by no means, by me doing this podcast, do I feel like an expert in any way, guys. I'm here to just simply share the knowledge that has helped me so I can try to help you, but I continuously want to learn, right? I want to talk to other people. I want to ask different questions, right? I want to develop myself, guys. So I'm going to continue to have that humility, continue to humble myself, and have that curiosity to want to always get better. And I hope that I can encourage you guys to do the same. Continue to push yourself, continue to stay curious, guys, continue to ask questions, have that beginner mindset to always want to learn, to continue to help you to grow and develop on your journey to achieve your goals, whatever they may be. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys gained a lot of value from this episode. Again, adopt that beginner's edge of having humility versus arrogance, right? Don't think you're an expert, guys. Continue to be that beginner, continue to ask questions, continue to grow. So with that being said, that's what I got for you guys on today's episode. I hope you guys gained some value from it. And with that, I'm gonna leave you guys as I always do. Remember, success isn't just about the money you make or the muscles you build. It's also about the mindset you develop along the way. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Money Muscle Mindset.